Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
We know how important your company is to the community.
Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Louisiana and Beyond.
And this week, we'll look back at the origins of the Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District, one of the most progressive and successful in the state.
And tonight, we'll hear from its Executive Director, Angela Hidalgo, and Board Chairman, Tony Alford.
Also sharing their thoughts in the program will be O'Neill Malbrew, Stevie Smith, Gordy Dove, and Mitch Mormon.
And in our guest segment this week, we'll be joined by Billy Joe Pellegrin from Edison Schwest Offshore.
Stay with us for that and more coming up tonight on Louisiana and Beyond.
Louisiana and Beyond is brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Nichols State University, and Sea Level Construction.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
In a world where you can choose to be anything, who do you choose to be? At Nichols State University, with over 70 distinct degree programs, we believe our students can be anything. Be an artist, a chef, a journalist, an educator, a lifesaver. But no matter what you choose to be a colonel. Be more at Nichols State University.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome back to Louisiana and Beyond. Tonight, we take a look at the humble origins of the Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District.
And we begin with one of its first board members who justly credits its founding by his father-in-law, the legendary Senator Leonard Chabert.
In my relationship with my father-in-law, I watched them in 1986, him and Sammy Nunez passed Act 6, the first coastal bill that dedicated oil and gas funds to the building of the coast. Before that, they didn't have a program. They didn't have a department to do it at that time. And so I was fortunate enough to be in the early days of them funding it and beginning coastal restoration. At that time, the Department of Natural Resources was undertaking the restoration at that time, and then got into my father-in-law ended up starting the levee district. Before that, he had assigned me to the levee board. I served under I think it was under Buddy Roma's term. I served on the Chaffalay Levee Board. And at that time, my direction was, if you remember, Terrebonne was part of the Chaffalay Levee Board. And Leonard wanted to create the South Terrebonne Levee District. So I was there at the time on the Chaffalay Levee Board when we created the South Terrebonne. He created the South Terrebonne Levee District and moved some of the funding from the Chaffalay Levee Board to South Terrebonne. It was half of the money that Terrebonne Parish was putting up, but it was when the levee district was created. And then lo and behold, later on, I got into the engineering business and started doing some work for them and a number of levee boards. Now we're working for 6 or 7 levee districts across the state.
Senator Chabert at the time, and look at the genesis of that is Senator Chabert flooding in Hurricane Juan, right? Literally having water in his house in Loci in Hurricane Juan. And creating that agency and being focused exclusively on hurricane protection. At the time, the parish was not going to take that on, so Senator Chabert created an entity that was going to be focused exclusively on hurricane protection. I think evolution is the best word, because in those early days, you had very little money. You had to get a little bit of money locally, and then whatever Senator Chabert could get out of the state government to support it.
Back in the late 80s, they had the South Terrebonne Tidewater Management and Conservation District, and they had the North Terrebonne Conservation District, something like that. It was in the late that those two entities formed and independently operated, and then it was in the late 90s where they actually merged and created the Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District, and that's when then Jim Ernie had retired. And Jerome Zarang became the executive director, and the first thing he did was hire me out of college. So that entity formed a consolidated district that handled both levee work and conservation efforts.
I go to my first meeting, and there's a floodgate named after this old guy, Willis Henry, right? Mr. Willis Henry said, we're going to nominate you for president. And I remember looking at him, I remember my exact words, Mr. Willis, I don't know anything about levees. He said, that's all right, we're going to teach you. And that was like my first or second meeting. And I was like, okay, now I'm president, now what do we do? And for the first year and a half or so, I didn't want to cause waves, and I wanted to see how things, what's going on, right? What do I have to learn? What do we have to do? And I didn't want to cause waves that first year and a half. And of course, then you started seeing the flooding and all the things that took place. And man, you figured, we could have an impact on this. We could stop some of this from happening and stop having the lower parts of the parish move elsewhere, or move to town, right? And with the coordination of a lot of people, Z was the executive director then. Angela had been there longer than all of us. She's doing a fantastic job right now. Stevie Smith was a project manager. Program manager at the time, and there's been a whole lot of people be involved with this, right? Mitch Mormon came after Stevie, and we've had just so many people involved. It's too many to even that I could mention, But Gordy started getting the money, and Reggie was a legislator at the time, and was able to coordinate in the Senate and the House. But Gordy being chairman of Natural Resources, man, we started finally getting some money. And, there was already a tax that had passed by $0.25, but you couldn't spend it unless you had a match.
And we were all 20 years younger back then, and it started, and Tony Alford and the board was relentless in just moving forward the whole time, and we have a complete levee system And remember, we wasn't like Lafourche. Lafourche had to build a floodgate on Bayou Lafourche. We had to build 12 of them. But we had a lot to build here because we had so many canals and bayous that we had to gate up. And as parish president, I built 2 lock systems, one in Bayou Terrebonne, one in Little Caillou, and we've started the big one in the Homer Nav, which is being built under Restore Act money, which is BP money, but Tony Alford and the board are actually running that with CPRA. And so in the future, you will come and go in the Terrebonne and the main canals that bayous under a lock system. So as sea level rises, or we subside, whatever is causing sea level rise, as we start subsiding, we're constantly subsiding, Terrebonne will be 20 years ahead of anyone else, and so will Lafourche Parish.
And we'll learn more about the Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District later in the show.
And coming up, Martin, Billy Joe Pellegrin educates us on the decades of success and the exciting future of Edison Schwest Offshore. So stay with us.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drilled deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
Welcome back. In tonight's guest segment, Billy Joe Pellegrin from Edison Schwest Offshore joins us.
A common sight down Bayou Lafourche are the Schwest Pride license plates. Well, that's far more than a slogan, as Billy Joe tells us.
There's a lot of pride that goes into that. So, and that's what we focus on. A lot is the pride associated with our company. And so, the famous orange and cream colors, as you see globally, throughout the world, very recognizable. As you said, I was in Disney World many years ago and on the rides and soaring, and you can actually fly over the tractor tugs in San Diego region as well. So I know exactly what you mean by that as well. And so, yeah, being able to travel globally, for the organization, and just the name brand itself is recognized. And so it takes a lot of pride, in the local community when you say that you work for Edison Schwest. you get a lot of reaction to that. And it definitely enhances the ability to bring on the next generation of our family members, as well as the next generation of students that's coming out the high school systems as well, is that they can be proud of where they work and be well represented by a family of companies. And so, we work closely with Dr. Kloon and in Nichols University. And one of the focus points that we're doing there is on maritime training. And so we partnered with with the institution so that we can advance the maritime training for our local students, for the youth that's growing up, and also for the advancements of those that are already in the industry as well. And so Nichols is working on a 4-year program to allow students to actually go through their program and test for what we call an unlimited license within the United States Coast Guard. And that'll allow these individuals to work on board the larger vessels that exist, not only in our company, but in the industry. And so we've always felt that as long as we're training the industry, it'll provide value to us as well. So we don't have a problem training people who are not going to be within the Schwest organization, but as long as they're supporting the industry. And so with Nichols, we're going to provide them with simulator technology and a lot of the course material that they need so that they can make sure that they're training the next generation of youth to operate these complex vessels in an offshore environment. Whether it be oil and gas, whether it be in support of the wind industry, whether it be in support of seismic work, or U.S. government work. So Mr. Gary always talks about, we have to wake up earlier than the competition does in the morning. And so, we pride ourselves in wanting to make Edison Schwest a great place to work. And he does so by providing us the tools and the resources to do that. And so as high as he is within the organization, and as you mentioned earlier, 19 to 20,000 employees, he always provides us direct access to him. And so that's the feeling that allows us to continue to want to do better, do more, wake up early in the morning, and make sure that we're advancing in the technology side. And as you mentioned, he morphs into the new technology with iPads, but it's going further than that. It's going into the machine learning aspects of our vessels. It's now going into the AI technology as well. And so from that iPad that you talk about, he can see what's going on his vessels globally. He can tell what the temperature is in a bedroom, to what pumping pressures are on board the vessels, to the generator PSI, the generators, the temperatures, anything you can tell remotely, just like you could tell on board the vessel as well. So he's allowed us to continue to morph into that new ability to even remotely control these vessels. And so we can actually control these vessels from a shoreside facility, as well as even the ROVs as well. And so that morphing of technology has continued to allow us to evolutionize and be ready for the next generation of AI, which is going to be a large portion of how we're going to see our vessels designed, built, and even operated in the future. We had some leadership training a few years ago, and I asked him personally, I said, Mr. Gary, why do you get so involved in the day-to-day aspects of the operation versus allowing your leaders to ultimately lead in those different divisions of the company? And it was pretty telling. And he said, well, Joe, I like problem solving. He says, I've been around, the industry for so long. I've probably seen what the problem is that we've had before. And he says, I like the problem solving. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me motivated and interested in being here, is I like to be a solutions provider. Sometimes that's on the larger client scale, but sometimes it's in the day-to-day operations at our shipyards and our port facilities as well. So he says, I like being a problem solver. Louisiana is, the birthplace for this oil and gas support operations. And so we want to continue to make sure that we're on the forefront of the next innovation and technology. And so Louisiana being the hub of the vessels and the port facilities and a lot of the logistics companies allows us to continue to evolutionize that next generation. And so we mentioned earlier about working with Nichols, but we also working with Fletcher's as well on robotics programs. And so that, we talk about ROVs, but we also talking about robotics. So regardless whether they're ROVs below the ocean surface or they're above the surface or they're on land, Louisiana's playing a large role in the development of the next generation of technology. And so that's why we're making sure that we partner with all the local institutions to give them the tools that they need, give them the simulator technology, give them the examples of the tools that we're using in the offshore industry to make sure ultimately that we stay above the next generation of technology that's coming around the corner. For a young child who's coming through the high school and doesn't know exactly, what he wants to do, if he wants to go to college or he wants to go to military or he wants to trade, there's definitely a lot of opportunities that exist. And today we're working with the high school system, South Lafourche High School, and some of the career magnet facilities to show them, what opportunities exist, what six-figure opportunities exist in this local region as well. and to bring those students on and show them that they can have a career within this organization. It's not a stepping stone, but it's a final place of retirement. And so by doing so, that's why we built in the training facilities and we built in the internship that we're able to provide. So if a student doesn't know what he wants to do, then give the opportunity, for us to talk about that. I did a presentation a year or so ago to a high school class, and we went around in a high school class and I asked probably 20 or 25 students, what did they want to do after they left high school? And I think there was only one student in that class that we didn't have a place within the Edison Schwest Offshore family of companies that we could fulfill their opportunity, and that was cosmetology. And so other than that, I think we have a place for a new student coming around the corner.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drill deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
And now, more on the Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District.
And its Executive Director, Angela Hidalgo, talks about her board chairman, Tony Alford.
He does not stop. And if he asks for something to be done, he expects it to be done. The good thing about working with him is that our work ethic is aligned in so much that we want to deliver the projects. And we know, along with Mitch Marmond, who's my program manager, and David Boudreau, who works with Mitch, and my staff, and my other consulting firms, we work with All South, we work with, Delta Coast Consultants, we have GIS Engineering. I mean, these guys are in it to win it. And that is something that is not common in government usually. So whenever you work with someone like Tony, who is so dedicated in delivering, it's nice to be able to make stuff happen. So from one meeting to the next, things are moving, things are happening, and that's not common that common in government. You usually don't see government tends to move slow. We see that with the Corps, that, you know, the ship takes a long time to move paths. It does not happen like that here. So working with someone like Tony Alford and Gordy Dove and the team that I have is really rewarding, because as time moves on, we're making major changes, and we see the benefit of those changes year after year. You know, in 2008, we had a hurricane and we had flooding. In 2020, we had 6 of them and had no flooding. I mean, the proof is in the pudding there, right? I mean, every year we get better and better, and every year that we don't flood is a success for Terrebonne. It's a success for Tony and my team and my staff. And I mean, that is a very rewarding position to be in as an executive director, to have someone that can basically lead the way, open the door, and then move out of the way and let us go do what we have to do. You know, that's just unique.
The levee district doesn't have, it has its own employees, mostly for the operation of the system, but it does not have its own technical, you know, branch evaluating, you know, plans, specification, construction timelines, and things like that. So, you know, my relationship over time has evolved to be more the technical arm of that functioning for the levee district. So while I'm not an employee of the levee district, you know, I'm a contractor for the levee district. Rather than them hiring a team of engineers and paying salaries and everything that they do, you know, that's what role I perform. So I manage the design and construction of Morganza, but it bleeds off into other things that they ask me to do just because, I guess, of my skill set, right? And haven't done it for them for a long time. So, but yeah, I'm really just the technical arm of the levee district in that capacity.
We got the system down. Tony and the levee board has done unbelievable things, okay? That even me working as long as I've been working for them, I would have never imagined that we were gonna be at the place we were at right now.
Nowadays, we've got so much significant local funding that it really has helped us parlay a tremendous amount of money out of the state and at this time federal government. I mean, that's the biggest change over there, is the you know, the dedication of local dollars to this problem is really the bell cow for us to see all these improvements. And we've used it now for 10 to 20 years, saying, hey, we continue to dedicate our own money, will you please help us? And gosh, the first quarter-cent sales tax, I want to say, was 2001. Jerome at the time was the levee board director. I think Mr. Willis Henry was the levee board president. The first time we had the sales tax to support Morganza, that at the time started generating, $4 million a year. We've since then added some more local revenue to that stream. I think we're generating $20 to $25 million in local revenue for levee and hurricane protection. That's a significant dollar amount. I mean, that will get anyone to, you know, help you out when you say I'm bringing 20. And again, Senator Dupree, Reggie, and Gordy before, when we had Governor Blanco and Governor Foster even before that, it made their jobs a little bit easier by showing up and saying, we are contributing these dollars, will you please help us? That's really the genesis for all the work that we've seen, okay? And again, you know, can't say enough about the current leadership, Chairman Alford, right, Tony, and then Chairman Dove at the CPRA, and their dedication to these causes and their tireless efforts.
So we have a 9-member board. They all serve at the pleasure of the governor. They are appointed by different state representatives or senators, and I have one at large. I have one appointed by the VFW, and then all those names are submitted. Two are appointments by the parish president. Those names are submitted to the governor for approval. Once they're approved, they serve at the pleasure of the governor, concurrent with the governor. So we meet every month, twice a month, first and third Wednesdays of the month, usually 6 o'clock. And we're right there on the airbase on the east side of Houma. We have a very robust agenda, obviously, but we are really good these days in making sure that we're efficient with our meetings, so that we're not there for hours on end. But we do have a lot of work to do. To serve on my board is a privilege, I think. I think all my board members take a lot of pride in the work that they do. They've all been there for a long time, so they're very seasoned. And there's a learning curve with that, you know. I mean, anybody that tells you they want you to serve on a board and you don't have to do anything is lying to you, because every board member has a lot to do. They have a lot of responsibility.
More on the Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District in the coming weeks.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next week on Louisiana and Beyond.
Louisiana and Beyond has been brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Nicholls State University, and Sea Level Construction.